Alright, what's up guys? So, welcome to Season 3. This is absolutely crazy that we are now on Season 3 of Real Paranormal Stories. So, as I said, there's going to be a lot more stories focused on the group, or that has happened to a group of my friends, or myself and my significant other, Carly, Marie, or Matt and Mike, or Jennifer and Sarah, something like that. Like a couple, or all of us as a group. There's going to be more stories focused on that than just the individual itself. So, before the season started around 2 weeks ago, I wanted to just jog my memory as just hard as I could. And it was just asking everybody. I was going through all through my texting history and all that stuff, and just anything that I can remember. And I was so focused on like the big things that happen on FaceTime, that happened to all of us, not just one of us. So the two stories that happened on FaceTime, or Spike, or not Spike, but Skype, basically happened to a group of us. So, like when I saw the shadow pass by Carly's room, like 6 or 10 times that it happened that night. Eventually, Jamie, Marie, and my significant other all came by and all happened to me. And then the last one that I talked about in the season finale, which I still say is the best episode of the series so far, and that happened to 4 people. It happened to Matt, Mike, Jennifer, and Sarah. That happened to all 4 of them. But this is more towards the one person where nobody came over. There was only one person there at the very, very, very most, but the whole group saw it. So this story has to pertain to my significant other. And basically, one night we were all FaceTiming, but when the experience happened, it was only myself, my significant other, and Carly. Jamie and Marie were had to go back to practice they had to go back to school, because they had to check on something. And then I forgot what they had to check on, but it had to do something with the cheerleading. It didn't have to do with like a test or something like that. And then with Matt, Mike, Jennifer, and Sarah, they all had to leave because they were all going to go see a movie. And so we all were having fun, and then everybody said their goodbyes, basically. I said, have fun, stay safe, and all that stuff. So it's just us 3. So we were all sitting there, having fun, and talking. And if you guys don't know, so my significant other and I were friends all the way back. The earliest memories I could think of was 3rd grade. And I'll be turning 23 this year. So it's been basically 15 years. So Carly, it's been since 5th grade. So it's been 12, 13 years now. So we go way back. Carly is the closest friend that I have. Other than my significant other, closest friend that I have. The best of friends, that I would say. And all my friends are my best friends, but if I had to pick my closest friend, it would be Carly. So we were talking about memories and all that stuff, like school stories and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, now this is around winter time. So usually when it's winter season and winter break, everybody goes back home to their family. So Carly would usually be with Marie because they've been together now for it will be 4 years this year. 4 years, and then because my significant other and I just celebrated 6 years on January 20th. So usually my significant other, she would go back to her parents, Carla would go back to her parents, Marie would go to her parents, and then on Christmas Day they would meet back up and go there. So this was around that time when just everybody was alone. So Carly's parents were home, but it was around that time when everybody was asleep. Everybody was either asleep or they were in bed. They were at least in bed. So everybody was in bed. I was in bed. Everybody was in bed. So it was around, I want to say 2:30. But it was not witching out. I know that. It was not witching out. It was around 45 minutes before then. So we were just talking about memory lane, and then all of a sudden, she hears this door shut. And we all heard it. It was loud enough that everybody could hear it. Now, obviously, on her end, it was very loud, because obviously she was there. So, her door, not her door, but the door across from, the one that was closest to her. Because basically, it's her room, and then you have one right around that they use for, like, guest room, and then all the way across the hall, or way down the hallway, is her parents' room. And the door, like, I wouldn't say slammed shut, but it was loud enough that it could be heard. So she thought that was weird. And I was like, what was that sound? And she was like, that was the guest room shutting. And her door was semi-open. And she thought that was very weird. Because there was no guests at that time. It wasn't Christmas Day. It wasn't even Christmas week. There was still around 10 days till Christmas. So she thought that was very weird. So she got kind of scared. I said, bring your phone with us and maybe we can figure this out. So if this is the first episode that you're watching, we all believe in ghosts. Wholeheartedly believe in ghosts. But we all know that we have to try and debunk it or find a logical reason, or we will be called weird. So we all did that to find a reason for it at first. So she opened the door. Weirdest thing. Door was open. Which is weird because we just heard it close. From the time that she heard the noise and she got up, it couldn't have been no more than 15 seconds. I was like, what was that noise? And she was like, that was the guest room door. But there is no guest. And I'm like, take your phone with you so that we can see this. So she opened the door and the door was open. So that really scared her. So she opens the door. There's nobody inside. She checks in closets. There's nothing there. And then when she closes the closet door and she turns around, the door shuts. Again, now this time it slams. So she got very scared. The light was on. There was no power outage like you see in the movies. It was just the door slammed shut. Now none of us saw it, but she opens the door. She goes in her room, and then she goes by her parents' room, opens it. They're dead asleep. They're snoring. So it's obviously not them. She's an only child, so obviously there's no human being there. Her dog is next to her, wondering like what the hell's going on. So, but one thing I noticed is that, because we started trying to figure out what this could have been, and I was like, okay, close your door, but when you're in the hallway, see maybe the wind. She closed the door, doesn't move at all. All the windows are shut because, you know, it's cold, it's winter season, so we couldn't recreate it at all. But one thing I noticed is that the dog was staring at this door. For some weird reason, this dog was staring at the door. And I thought that was so weird. And I started getting scared. Because one thing, if you know the paranormal, you know that animals and kids are very, 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 like, they can sense the paranormal probably the most. More than, like, adults or something like that. But I was like, what is going on? And I mentioned, I was like, hey, do you notice Gizmo? And she was like, what? And I was like, look down. And she looks down and she's like, Gizmo, are you alright? Because it was just staring at this door. And then it started, like, growling a little bit. So I was like, huh. Weird. So a little bit goes by. I'm like, I have an idea. Alright, let's just try to continue what we were talking about. But leave your door open. Sit in a way that, you know, if we're talking, we can still see if the door maybe shuts. So we left the door closed, because that's even the weirder thing. The door, she said that the door is always closed, because obviously, you know, you're not using it, so why would you have it open? So, but for some reason when she started FaceTime, it was open. So, and her house is haunted. I'll probably talk about her house in the first episode of Paranormal Adventures, possibly. And, it was just weird. So, we're talking, and probably the scariest part of the whole night, we were talking, and all of a sudden, you can see the door behind her slam shut. Her parents still asleep. So, obviously gets the dog's attention, goes to the door, scratches the door, and all that stuff. I don't think it was malevolent in any way. I just thought that it was weird. And she said that never happened before. The door thing never happened. She's seen shadows, she's heard voices, she's heard footsteps and all that stuff, but never, you know, seen something physically move. And especially in the upstairs. So we go at it again, try and recreate it. Nothing can happen. So we are still talking, and by this point she is kind of freaked out. But we do eventually calm her down. And I say, just tell it to go away. Say, hey, I can see that you wanted attention. You got my attention, but you're starting to scare me. Can you please stop? So she says that, and it does stop. But off camera, she said that over the course of that week, and she would mention this on FaceTime anytime that it happened. Over that course of that week, few weeks to month, it happened basically around once a week. But when it would happen that day, it would happen several times, like it did that night. Because it happened around 3-4 times that night, and that I thought that was just strange. But it did eventually stop, and all that stuff. Still don't know what the hell that was, but it was just weird. But yeah, so I thought this would be a good story to start off with. So next week, I already have basically my next 4 to 5 episodes in. Like I said, between 10 and 12 episodes this season. So yes, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.